Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the King Leo Show. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone? We're here a little early. This is time for us to talk. The real fans, dude. I've been doing some work around the house. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the King Leo Show. How's everyone doing tonight? Perfect. All right. I've been doing some work around the house, man, and it has been such a pain, right? So I went to the Home Depot because I can't do everything by myself. I'm not that strong. I'm not that strong, and that's okay, right? That's okay. That's fine. Okay. And I was looking outside at the day laborers because they just sit outside. I know that Ron DeSantis says that we don't have day laborers in America anymore in Florida, but we actually do a lot. And you can see them usually. There's a lot of Cuban ones now too, man. I mean, I maybe kind of equaled the playing field because it usually was like Guatemalans and Mexicans, but now there's Cubans, and you can tell Latinos apart, dude. You can. So before you call me racist, Tucker said racist, And I saw the whitest man I've seen in my life, the whitest white man that I've ever seen with the day laborers, and I was like, what the hell is this, And so I go inside of the Home Depot. I get myself a Red Bull Cherry Sakura. Great flavor, not a sponsor. And I'm like, let me go talk to this white guy with the day laborers who are all Hispanic. And I'm like, hey, man, what's up? He's sweaty because he's not built for that. He's not built for the day labor. And that's fine. You're not built for the day labor life. Some people are, some aren't. I'm not. He's sweating through a button-down shirt, buttoned all the way up in khakis. And everyone else kind of looking at him suspicious. Is this an ICE agent? But I'm like, hey, man, what's up? What's going on here? Why are you here? And, I'm expecting maybe he starts breaking out some Spanish. Maybe he's just like a really white Latino. That's fine. My mom's like that. And he responds in perfect English. He's like, hey, what's up, man? You need help with your floor? And I was like, no, I don't. How are you? What's up, man? What's your name? He's like, Joe. We'll call him Joe. And I'm like, what's up, Joe? Why are you here, dude? Like, you realize you look like the odd man out here. I'm a fake anthropologist. I love to see this. And he's like, dude, I work for the Coast Guard. And I go, what? Then why are you here? You're in the military. Shouldn't you be in Iran? And he goes, no, man, we haven't deployed or anything. In fact, we're part of the military, but we're not. They kind of treat us like TSA. So we're not being funded right now. So I haven't been paid in like 2 weeks. I go, what? We're not funding the Coast Guard? What? I go, so what are you doing here? And he goes, dude, I got things to buy, dude. I got computers. I've got bills. I've got food. I got to do this day labor gig. And I go, Joe, this is so weird. This doesn't. Have you gotten any work? He said, obviously not. Obviously not. Everyone takes a look at me and they go, this white man can't lift anything. I go, that's unfair. That's racist. It's not. There are plenty of good day laborers that could be white. So I hired him to do the floor or something. I didn't actually do that. I don't hire day laborers, but I was like, all right, Joe, thank you for your service. I appreciate you, but brother, can you believe that they're not funding the Coast Guard right now because of the temporal shutdown or whatever? The partial shutdown? I was amazed. A Coast Guard man being a day laborer because they're not paying. Let's get to the show. How you doing, Monkey Land? How you doing? Let's get to the show. Welcome to the King Leo Show. That was just so odd. I had to recount it, dude. I can't believe I saw one of our veterans. He wasn't lying either. He didn't strike me as a liar. He kept calling me sir, very respectful, but a bit frustrated. You could feel his frustration. Let's do the plugs and we'll get into the show. All right, plug number. We got some new sound clips, by the way. The cicadas are more quiet today, Monkey Land. I don't know why, but they're more quiet today. Yesterday was incessant. We have a park here in Miami, dude, called Monkey Jungle. Reminds me of your name. It's like these monkeys, and you can feed them raisins. Let's get to the show. Here we have our plugs, the Discord server, which is free in the description. I was supposed to be active. I'm sorry. I have to remodel the bathroom, okay? I'm going to do it tomorrow. We have the Patreon, which opens up the paid tier, which is voice chat on the Discord. Or you can join to get the King Leo Movie Club. New episodes every Sunday. I have to shoot it on Saturday today. I like to shoot these in the moment. I'm a bit of a thespian in that way. But, you know, I'm going to have to shoot it Saturday. I like when a director shoots a movie in order. You know, like that, like Drive. That movie shot in order. Refn shoots all his movies in order. But whatever, I have to shoot it early. And we have obviously the What Would a Piers Morgan Do or What Would a Postmodernist Do parody bracelet available at the coffee link below. How's everyone doing tonight, man? Is everyone having a good time? Everyone having a good time. It was really strange to see that guy, man. That was fucking crazy. I did not expect that. Today we're going to talk about Dave Smith. We ended the show a bit abruptly because I had the revelation that Dave Smith and I are birthday brothers with Adolf Hitler. You know, April 20th babies out here. I was born during Columbine. Anyone remembers that? I feel like Columbine got left on the back burner. No one even remembers what that was. But for the old heads, they'll remember. So, yeah, dude, it was pretty wild to see that Dave Smith and I had the same birthday. And I think we brought the handy dandy whiteboard out here today because I think it's time to reanalyze Dave Smith. Was I wrong about Dave Smith? You know, the network, I thought that I was working for this free speech network, but my producer is suspended as well. Another week with pay because of our Dave Smith transgressions last night. I don't feel so free on this network, but it's okay. We move on. The big boss at the network doesn't like me denigrating Ben Shapiro or Dave Smith, but we'll get into that later, all right? How you doing, J-Boss? Let's start with our usual, man. So glad I put these on the fucking stream deck. All right. We have to start here, dude. I don't even know what this is. I don't have context for it. I don't understand what it is. You tell me. I'm depending on you. This is what the White House posted last night when we ended the show. Okay? What is this? You know what is did Kristi Noem take all the good editors with her? I literally have no idea what this is, dude. Sound on, phone sound on. I don't think anyone understands what it is. It's another, you know, we needed another Covfefe moment. For anyone that doesn't remember, during the first Trump term, he tweeted Covfefe. He's never said what he meant by that. I always thought I was referring to coffee. But there's a Wikipedia page for Covfefe. Let me confirm that, man. And I don't know what this tweet was. You know, it's not 2016, so we won't have liberals make a Wikipedia article about it. But look, Covfefe has a whole wiki article. Despite the constant negative press, Covfefe in law. Dude, you have to be like a mentally ill liberal to make this. So you have to be insane. You have to be insane to do this. All right, so that's what the White House is supposed. I have no idea what this means. I don't have a riff on it. I don't get it. I guess so. Thank you, Mr. President, for your attention to this matter. All right, we have to get to Iran, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. Brother, these are the greatest propagandists on the planet right now after Mr. Netanyahu himself. Look at what they're doing with the AI. It's really something to watch. It's very good. It's actually very good. Look, he has the Hezbollah flag on the skateboard. There's obviously a parody of that gentleman who drank cranberry juice on a skateboard. But this is either an IRGC officer or an Iranian. Dude, you know what's crazy? And I haven't seen anyone talk about it. We have all of the people in this country angry because there's no jobs. They want to work. They want to get out there and work. They're crying about it, man.
That's right, bro.
That is your average American on TikTok, bro. We're going to see some of them in our next segment. They keep crying about not working. They want to work. If you want to work, you should get beat like a runaway slave, man. That is some slave mentality.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
But what that's taking me to is I have not seen anyone say or ask if there's anyone who's employing people right now. It is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. They're probably the top hirer online. I'm sure on Indeed you can find IRGC job postings. They're hiring everything, HR, marketing. I mean, someone's making these videos. And they're probably getting paid in what does Iran use for money? Is it a dinar? What do they have? What's the Iranian money? Iran money unit. What is it? What do they use out there? The rial. Wow, so original. All right. People, I'm not saying they should do this, but I'm surprised that all these people who want to work so badly, if there's anyone who's not gonna post fake jobs, it's probably the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. It's probably them. So why aren't you looking on LinkedIn to see if you can link up with these guys out in Persia? Dude, they're going to need everyone they can get. You can also join the army. They're desperate for people too. But I'm just saying, maybe you want some sort of... I'm surprised Iran hasn't started a foreign legion. You know, France has one. Spain had one. The Dominican Republic had one. You know, a pathway to citizenship if you join the army. We might as well start one in this country to take advantage of the poor economic situation in America, you know? I remember some people, some radicals, it was ideological more than anything, signed up to fight for Putin. Disgusting, disavow. That is just terrible. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But, you know, in this case, since this is the most unpopular war in American history, and you want to work, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Let's move on. Let's continue. We have here, again, more Iranian. Dude, this was propaganda from earlier in the week. This is great stuff. This is not AI. This is real.
Ehteram, you are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The central headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya. Ehteram, you are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
They really are good at it, dude. You can't just use Trump's lines against him.
You can't do it. It's disgusting.
You can't do it. However, it is very funny. It's very, very funny. Who knew they had jokes, man? I haven't met many Persians in my life. The ones that I met have been exiles, mostly. And they're all right. They're cool, but they're usually against the... I didn't know that Persians had this sense of humor. I'm not surprised because the third world usually has a better sense of humor, but they work it into their propaganda. It's great stuff, you know. Hey, Trump, you're fired. Thank you for the attention to... You know, I can see where Patrick Bet-David got started. Patrick Bet-David would not be Patrick Bet-David if he were not born in Iran being a numbers guy. They have a similar way of speaking. The Persians outside and inside. These are one people, man. This is like North and South Korea. How wonderful. Let's continue. We have to look at Trump here on Fox News today. This is some crazy shit, man. This is very, very horny posting on the timeline.
I think it is alarming that we have not been able to see or hear from any of the Iranian people. And I imagine that is because their internet is shut down. And I think there is some general worry about them obviously their government treats them terribly and killed tens of thousands of them in January. Do you, again, like Kayleigh, I would never ask you to tell us something that is classified, but do you have any insight as to how they are doing? Do they have drinking water? Do they have food?
Right, I do.
It's upsetting.
I do. But first, do you remember when we had lunch years ago in the base of Trump Tower when it was a brand new building?
It was a long time ago, yes.
A long time ago, and you haven't changed.
Oh.
You have not changed. Now, I'm not allowed to say this. It's the end of my political career, but you may be even better looking, okay? So I don't know what you're doing. But I will not say that.
Has a lot
I will
to do
not
with
say that because that will end my political career. You know, you're not allowed to say a woman's beautiful anymore. You know?
I really am at a loss, dude, in the sense of people were posting this and they were angry. How are you doing, Audio Vibes? They were saying, you know, how can President Trump be thinking about pussy at a time like this? But my question is, what kind of TRT is Trump on? This guy is geriatric. How old is Trump right now? Let's check. I haven't kept up. How old is Trump? I pray to God that when I'm 79 years old, I can still be posting like this in real life. Maybe with Brian Johnson, I'll be able to. But can you believe the president is out here? He has that vril. He doesn't need the Viagra. And, you know, what you should be angry about, actually, if you're going to be angry at anything, is that I don't think that Trump is on any form of testosterone replacement therapy. I think he may have been right with the body is a battery and eating the McDonald's. You know, I haven't seen a 79-year-old man, you know, they're usually complimentary, you know, to the younger ladies, you know, they're, oh, you're so beautiful. This is a little aggressive. Let's hear it again right here.
Right, I do.
It's upsetting.
I do. But first, do you remember when we had lunch years ago in the base of Trump Tower when it was a brand new building?
It was a long time ago, yes.
A long time ago, and you haven't changed.
Oh.
You have not changed. Now, I'm not allowed to say this. It's the end of my political career, but you may be even better looking, okay? So
he's taking her back down memory lane. Remember when we were so much younger 4 years ago? We had that nice little dinner. You looked stunning. And now you look even more stunning. Dude, President Trump is a rapper, man. He wants to fly her out. That's what he's saying. I'll fly you out to the White House. You know, you can still get it. You know, this is a level of masculinity that this is the real Myron Gaines. Will the real Myron Gaines please stand up? Because this is really something, man. I actually believe those medical reports out of the White House that people are like, oh, it's North Korea. Dude, if he's this horny in the middle of a war at 79, then there's something in that water, dude. He's doing well. He's eating good. I don't know how he's doing it. Let's continue. We lost a story. Did we lose a story? Dude, and I bring the primo stuff. That sucks. All right. Let's watch over here our vice president who warned me of something today. As I've told you guys, you know, I'm not sleeping good these days. I'm very scared because I was told there were Iranian sleeper cells, but I didn't even know that this was possible here.
When I say options, I think it's important the American people know options for what? And it's options to ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. You talk about people who walk into a crowded supermarket and have a vest on, and they blow up the vest and a couple of people get killed, and that's a terrible tragedy. What happens when what's on the vest is not something that can kill a couple of people, but can kill many, many tens of thousands of people? That is the most important American national security objective that exists for any administration at any time, is you don't want the worst people in the world to have a nuclear weapon. That's why the president is doing this. That's why the president cares so much about this particular issue. When I say
the vice president just said that Iran has some sort, they were 2 weeks away from making nuclear suicide vests. People are being too casual with this war. They're just, you know, they were 2 weeks away. They have this, they have that. they have nuclear vests, suicide vests? What? I was not informed of that. How you doing, CCTV? I'm just not understanding. Is this real? There's no way this is real, right? There's literally no way this is real. Because if they have these vests, if they really do have suicide vests, we need to put them down. He's completely right.
Some of them going to sleep. Fuck God!
They need to go away. There's no way you get to walk around with nuclear suicide vests, but what the hell is he talking about? Because if they nuclear suicide vest implies the greatest nuclear power infrastructure ever made. Are these Iranians, have they even been selling oil? Do they sell oil? Because it seems like they have infinite nuclear energy. They can make suicide vests out of it. That's really, brother, that's really something. Let's continue, man. Oh my, let's look at some Democrat cringe, dude. This is some crazy stuff. We've looked at this young lady, Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez. She will not let up. Let's see what she's saying today. Very fashionable today, unlike last time.
Hey guys, I am in DC this week, but I want to talk to you about a bill on housing that I'm leading in the House that actually passed the Senate, bipartisan basis, called the Build Now Act. And what it does is says that cities and states, municipalities who have crazy permitting rules need to clear those up. And that before they create a housing scarcity and then ask the feds to come backstop their crazy rules, they gotta clean that up. And so normal people have an ability to own houses again, and we're not having this crisis in the rental market. I think it's really important. There's some politics involved in the House. I think it's important this gets done. I think it matters to our idea of ourselves as a nation. Let's build some houses. I will add the link below for you to see the bill text, but see you guys.
Say the N word, go on.
What the hell did this woman just say? Did anyone understand what this woman said? One more time on 1.5 speed. What did she? I have no idea what she just said.
Hey guys, I am in DC this week, but I want to talk to you about a bill on housing that I'm leading in the House that actually passed the Senate, bipartisan basis, called the Build Now Act. And what it does is says that cities and states and municipalities who have crazy permitting rules need to clear those up. And that before they create a housing scarcity and then ask the feds to come backstop their crazy rules, they gotta clean that up. And so normal people have an ability to own houses again, and we're not having this crisis in the rental market. I think it's really important. There's some politics involved in the House. I think it's important this gets done. I think it matters to our idea of ourselves as a nation. Let's build some houses. I will add the link below for you to see the bill text, but see you guys.
CCVS, did you want slavery or super slavery? Dude, that's kind of what it sounds like. I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. What is this woman talking about? What? She's reminding me a little bit of Kamala in a bad way, because Kamala had that joy. Did you fall out of a coconut tree? But she reminds me of Kamala because she's clearly, allegedly on these pills. What is this woman? Are we allowing pillheads in fucking politics now? Where is her Xanax prescription? What is this woman saying? What is she talking about? Guys, we're just trying to, the feds, what are you talking about? What? This is incoherent babble. What are they saying? What is this? What is this woman saying? Nothing against her as a woman, because this is happening across the board. I don't understand how you could still be a Democrat. What is this woman talking about? Dude, seriously, I don't know if it exists at the federal level, but this is Baker Act shit. She is slurring her words. She is taking way too much methadone at the methadone clinic. Allegedly, this part is scripted. It's not real. I would never say that about her in real life. Dude, we have a bunch of drunks in the fucking Congress now. The most sane guy there has had a stroke and dresses like a peasant. What is she talking about? We just have a bunch of drunk people and people popping pills. Have you ever met a pillhead? They talk, I'm not being facetious. This is how pillheads talk. You ever meet someone that's addicted to benzos like Jordan Peterson? Where's he at? Michaela. Michaela, I know you're hiding Jordan. I need Jordan Peterson back, Michaela. Michaela, you are hiding Jordan. You are hiding Jordan and you are torturing him in a basement in Canada. Michaela, you cannot be doing the Silence of the Lambs treatment on your own father. I need Jordan Peterson back crying on national TV. You ever look at someone addicted to benzos? This is how they talk. We have pillheads in Congress. The people in Congress are using their free healthcare that you pay for in order to fill Xanax prescriptions to then make videos like this. And they're not even editing the actual captions of the video.
Hey guys, I am in DC this week, but I want to talk to you about a bill on housing that I'm leading in the House that actually passed the Senate, bipartisan basis, called the Build Now Act. And what it does is it says that cities and states and municipalities who have crazy permitting rules need to clear those up. And that
crazy perimeter rules, she said, permitting. What is this, dude? What? I'm literally, today is a show of confusion. And for a Bajalardian that's familiar, Bajalardian is checking. This is a very confusing time to be an American. A very confusing. What is this bitch talking about? What is? It's too much for me, man. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. J Boss says, USA, use any food ingredient, it's bad in the end. We'll deal with that then. Also, USA, you cannot use any building method and deal with the bad in the end. Dude, I don't know what the... I really think at this point, my view on housing is that they built the country wrong and we have to destroy it in order to build it correctly. I think that's the only rational conclusion. You have all these yimbys out here, these morons, these freaks.
Disgusting and gross. I mean, you should just be... I don't like ugly, stupid freaks.
All these yimbys want to do is build more trains, build more trains. You're just building garbage on top of garbage. American cities outside of New York, San Francisco, and Boston are not built for trains. If you wanted to fix Miami's public transport, I could do it for you. You just have to give me a sledgehammer in 30 years and I'll tear the city down. We'll build it back. It'll be beautiful. So I don't even know what the solution is, man. I have no idea. I really think that the solution is getting heroin sent directly to the people with VR goggles and pornography. CCTV says, if you go to the doctors, they're all taking the medicine home with them. Dude, they're definitely taking the medicine home with them. Absolutely. Speaking of more democratic crap, this is 3 minutes long. Dude, if you're still a Bernie head, I don't get it. This guy is ridiculous. This guy needs to be put in a fucking retirement home. Let's see. You can't afford gas right now. That's your fault. You should get your money up. It's actually inspirational. I made $5 extra today because I know that gas is going up. So I need to compensate for that. I am not a slave. I'm out here taking this motivation that President Trump has blessed me with in the form of inflation and gas prices to get my money up. Okay, you have to be watching Gary Vee videos. You have to be. I go every weekend to the garage sales and I just harass them. I go, let me buy your junk. And I just needle them. And then they just give it to me for free. And I list it on eBay and sell it to suckers. Okay. That's how I make extra money. That's how you should make extra money. You can't buy eggs. Brokey. You know, what color is your Bugatti? You can't afford gas. You literally can't afford a Plan B pill. You can't afford condoms. Maybe this fertility rate will go up. Maybe this is the blessing in disguise. Maybe it's part of Elon Musk's plan. Whatever. You can't afford to go out to a restaurant. You can't go to vacation. But Bernie Sanders here, this is his priority. This is what he's doing in Congress.
Too often, owners are getting richer while taxpayers and fans are getting screwed. You probably know that billionaires are underpaying workers in the economy. You may know that billionaires are buying our elections to ruin our government. But we also have to talk about how billionaires are destroying the simple things in life that make every day worth living, like rooting for our home teams.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
This is, Marie Antoinette gets a bad rap. Marie Antoinette was just some dumb Austrian woman who thought that they could eat cake. She was, all right, they don't have bread, let them eat cake, whatever. You know, she was just dumb. She was out of touch. Marie Antoinette was just a TikTok influencer of her time, okay? And that's okay. It's okay to be a TikTok influencer in this 18th century, okay? In 1789, some people had to do it. Someone was going to say it, okay? Now, she got her head cut off by ISIS. I'm sorry, by the French revolutionaries. That's where they learned it, actually. Whenever you're mad at ISIS, you should be mad at the French Revolution. Regardless, Bernie Sanders is out here telling you, don't worry, I know that you... Don't worry, I know the billionaires and the millionaires are controlling your whole life. They won't hire you, they're using AI. But don't worry, we are going to get you to watch sports.
I always wonder how dumb this goyim sometimes can be.
This has 5,000 likes, man. It has obviously lefties being like, oh, this is great. You know, we're going to keep our home's team. The people. Stalin used to say, it's an urban legend, but that, you know, he would take a chicken and he'd say, watch this, and he'd feed it and it would eat out of his hand. And then he would take it into the Duma. He would defeather it alive. They'd be screaming and bleeding. Then he'd pull out food and it'd be eating out of his hand. He said, the people, they're just like this chicken. That is what it means to be a Bernie Sanders supporter, man. Seriously, I don't fucking get it, man. I don't get it. And obviously you have the right-wingers, the libertarians, coming in and saying, it's a private business. They can do what they want, the sports teams. So it's just, you're caught. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. That's the anthem of living in America at this point, dude. It really is. You are really in a warehouse cutting off some mafia guy's ear with Harvey Keitel. That is what's happening to you in this country. You are being just destroyed from every side. Let's continue. Thank you, Bernie Sanders, for your attention to this matter. Dude, I think we should move. Yeah, let's move on, man. We have a lot more to get through in our next segment. We have to get to the Gentiles, bro. How are my Gentiles doing, bro?
The people are retarded.
So if you recall, we saw Fox News recently went out to Florida to interview young people while they were busy, you know, trying to have a good time about the war in Iran, especially a lot of young white people. And I wanted to show you the dangers of, you know, because there were a lot of people saying, you know, this is good that young people are having fun. I completely agree. Young people should have fun. However, you know, I was locked in my house for most of that time, but whatever, that's not my problem, right? That's not your problem. That's no, whatever. I don't want young people to have a bad time, but I just want to show you that there is a problem here with young people where they are not able to have fun in the appropriate way, because as you can see here, this young lady, this is really, you know, a lot of times you'll hear right-wingers talk about anarcho-tyranny. This is the real anarcho-tyranny. Some girl gets up to twerk in her Jeep, causing a heartbreaking accident that kills someone, okay? And she kills herself in the process, okay? You don't have a right to twerk on a Jeep. I don't understand how this country works. So it's okay for you to twerk on a Jeep. That's okay. The police isn't going to do anything. In fact, they'll let you die. But if I drive a little too fast in a school zone, I pay a $100 ticket.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
I just paid another $100 fine for driving 35 in a school zone on a Saturday. There weren't any kids at school. But people can just twerk on top of their Jeeps now. And this is allowed. This is the behavior that people are encouraging in the country. This is the real anarcho-tyranny. They're always talking about, you know, Irina, you know, that tragically woman that was murdered. Obviously, that's tragic. This, to me, is just, obviously, that's someone losing their life. There's someone losing their life here. But this is levels of insanity that, you know, you can't really, look, when someone is doing something horrific like that, you know, they're out of their mind on drugs. You don't understand it, but you go, okay, I get it. You can't live in our society anymore. but it's wrong. However, this I don't understand. What leads you to believe that it's the right, that we should be twerking on top of Jeeps? Look, if you told me you were twerking on top of a Toyota Land Cruiser, I might give you a pass. That's good Japanese car. This is an American car. You shouldn't twerk on American cars. You're gonna ruin something. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. But I can't drive drunk. I'm not allowed to do that. But you can twerk on a Jeep till your heart falls out, till you die. This is the real anarcho-tyranny. This is the people that we have to live this, dude. Like, we really have to live with this. Where people are twerking on top of their... What do you do if you're driving next to this person and you have a family? Actually, it's probably good because your kids are going to be twerking by the time they're 5. So, I mean, at least she's doing a demonstrable... But the police lets her die, and then I get pulled over, and they're like, you were speeding through a school zone. It's not fucking fair, dude. It's not fucking fair. How you doing, Colin? Oh my, sleeper cells. Don't remind me. Let's watch here. I wanted to show you this, dude. This is some real cooning out here.
Oh, coons, we wanna have fun. Oh, coons, we wanna have fun.
This young woman's name is Priya Patel. Let's see what she has to say here about immigration.
This is your friendly reminder that immigration without assimilation is invasion. Got it?
Listen, I don't know what's going on with these Patels, dude. You have Cash Patel, you have Priya Patel. The day you anglicize your name, Priya, is the day that I'll do it. How about that? The right wingers, this has 3,000 likes, 2 million views, and I don't think this is conservatives who are liking this. I do think it's right wingers. There's a lot of simps on that side. I think the most basic part of assimilation is changing your name. I think that's how it works. You know, Jamie Dimon's real name is something like Jamie Alexopoulos, but he wanted to run a bank, so he changed it to Jamie Dimon. You know, Don Corleone, that wasn't his real name, and that happened with the Italians. They changed their names, right? Some people change their names. You have people in my family have changed their names to get along better in the country. That is the first step of real assimilation in the way it was envisioned by the melting pot guys. And this woman here with the last name Patel, oh, I'm sorry, is that Dutch? Or is that English? I have nothing against Indian people. We have some of my best friends are Indian. And we have Mr. Elu in the chat. One of the greatest people who's here is an Indian. All right, that's cool. Brother, don't talk to me about assimilating when you're still rocking the Indian last name. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not telling people to assimilate. I actually don't think you should. I think that you should do the opposite of assimilating. She's calling it invasion. I'm not calling it invasion. What you should do is try to make the country more fun. I'm not saying impose your culture. You should take the most fun aspect of your culture and bring it over here. You know, let the people have a little fun. Let them have a little joy. I think the apple's rotten right to the core from all the things that's come from all the apples coming before. Let the people have a little joy. That's what we need to do. We need to have a little joy in this country. And your culture, I'm sure it has some joy in it. I'm sure there's something interesting about being from Kosovo even. There's probably not. What do Kosovans do? I don't know if someday we're going to get a Kosovan to watch this show. I need them to explain themselves. I don't understand your country. Your country is the fakest country. I think it might be the fakest. We've talked about fake countries. When I think of the fakest country in the world, it's Kosovo. Not even South Sudan is more fake than Kosovo. But I'm sure you have something fun from your country. You know, Colombia, you bring the cumbia. Puerto Rico, well, that's part of America, right? But Chileans, they can bring the quecha. Sorry, the fucking... I don't remember what it's called right now, dude. I'm tired. These Indians, they could bring something fun, you know, the butter chicken, Slumdog Millionaire. That's cool. I think people like the Indian stuff. But instead, she's talking about You don't get to tell people to assimilate when your last name is still Patel. Let's continue. I need to show you some of my people, man. No, we'll save this one for later, actually. We'll save this for later, too, man. I had to show you this. Look at this. Normally on this channel, I'm very happy to see when people give the homeless what they want, which involves, you know, buying them a couple of cigarettes, a bottle of Jack Daniels. I think that's probably the best thing you could do for homeless people. Why are you trying to bring them back to hell?
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
These people who want to get them jobs, why would you want to do that? This man here did something a little different, which I haven't seen before. And this is some real simulation breaking stuff. I actually really love this that he did here.
I want some food? Yeah! Hi, come with me! Yeah. 13. Oh, we can take a seat? Oh my god. That is so gross. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm thinking it's a dirty vehicle. You made that shit dirty, what? Oh shit, it's over it's on the ground. She won't even notice. Yeah, she won't notice. Yeah, it smells so bad. What the fuck are y'all doing? But guys, they're homeless, so I mean, I was just trying to help them out.
Now, a lot of people will look at this and they'll say, you know, this is bad. This is not good. You should not bring the homeless to Chili's to tear up the restaurant, tear the club up. You know, they shouldn't be throwing stuff around, pouring sauces everywhere. However, if you look at it through the frame of Krugmanomics, this is actually the best thing you could do. I don't understand the Americans. The Americans keep telling me, I want to work, massa. You know, they want to work. And we have here the homeless doing a huge service to service employees. You know, Chili's was about to cut their jobs. You've been to a Chili's lately? They have robot servers now. Can a robot clean that shit up? These homeless, I think this actually may be the solution to the problem. The solution to the problem of lack of work is bringing homeless people in to tear shit up. Because this would actually incentivize companies to hire people, because now they have to clean this. And I know you're thinking, why would we do that? That sounds like Krugmanomics. You know, we should break windows because it'll increase GDP. Do you have any better ideas? I think that this is probably the best idea there is. We should bring the homeless into every kind of private establishment that is replacing workers with robots and AI, and they should tear it up. You'll at least get your job for another 6 months if you do this every 6 months. You bring a band of homeless people into the Texas Roadhouse and they just cause havoc. You know, you have to call the police. That's good. The police have to come in and take statements. That's incentivizing the police to keep working. They have to clean it up. Great stuff, right? You might even have to lock some of these homeless guys up. That keeps the jails going. It keeps the guards going. They have to take a salary. This is how you create jobs in the post-AI economy. You literally have to do this. What's the other solution? Someone called Dave Smith and ask him. Let's continue. Speaking of slaves, bro. Speaking of slaves trying to get a job.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
Let's watch this young woman here lament the fact that she can't work.
This is the worst time to be unemployed too, like, girl. And now I'm just thinking about the money that I lost, the income that I lost. I'm broke as fuck. Rent's too. Like, I'm like losing my mind now. 2 days I've been like chill, like whatever, like it is what it is. And now it's like, oh. I'm so screwed, y'all. I literally am.
Nut up, man. Woman up. Woman up. I'm so screwed. I don't have any money. Nut up. Why aren't people taking this bad economy in stride? You really should use this as fire to do something. How you doing, Excadrular? What is the big damn deal? I just don't get it. Unemployed at 22 in a 2020. This is where you need to boomer max, man. We give the boomers grief from time to time. But the boomers have this uncanny ability that you could go up to a boomer and tell him, hey, My wife's in the hospital. She was just diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. My child has leukemia. I can't afford the medical bills. I lost my job at Chipotle. I don't have health insurance, and I think that I'm going to die. And a boomer will look you straight in the face and say, pull yourself up by the jockstrap, son. Things are going to work out. You watch. They worked out for me. They'll work out for you. We need to start boomer maxing, man. Like, we really need to boomer max. It's going to work out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, you're unemployed at 22 and you're 22 years old. Do you know there are so many solutions to this outside of social media. You know, you could start an OnlyFans. You could start riding the trains. You could find yourself a sugar daddy. You have so many options for you. You could go hit the oil rig. Oil's $100 a barrel. You can go get a job. You are in a car. You can drive over there. There is so much opportunity out there if you simply use this as motivation, man. We can't do this, man. You are unemployed. You should be pleased, man. You should be pleased that you have been able to escape the matrix this early. Now you know that no one is going to save you, man. You know no one's going to save you. But why post this and tell me that you're broke?
You fat, you stink, and you in my country. I'm the top. You can't live in your own country. You're a monkey in your country.
You are literally proving that you're not an American. Like, you're not an American. Americans have been through worse. Ask a boomer, dude. Boomers will tell you they went through the Great Depression and World War II. They weren't there, but they feel like they did, and that's fine. So, you know, we've been through worse. We really have been through worse. And, you know, go get a sugar daddy. Nut up, ho, start selling feet pics. Or just do something interesting. They won't do anything, dude. Take that last bit of money, get a bunch of credit cards, move to Europe, go live in Serbia for a year. Tell me what it's like. Go do something of value. Bring value to me, and I will help you, but bring value to the world. I don't know, dude. Like, go try to make it to Antarctica. See if the government will let you. Try to storm Area 51. Don't do that. I'm kidding. Don't do that. But you can't complain like this.
You can't do it. It's disgusting.
It's just so low. It's so crass. We used to have decorum in this country. Whatever happened to strong silent type? Let's continue. Here's another one, man. Look at this one here. Look at this one here, bro. This is crazy.
I don't want a job. I don't want...
No, this is a good one. I'm sorry. This guy's actually cool.
I don't want a job. I don't want to work. Why do people act like that's a crazy thing to say? I didn't even ask to be alive. You know what's crazy? Let's say you send off 20 applications, like I did, and you get one interview. Now you have to sit at this bullshit table with these bullshit people and tell them, yes, if I was offered a better opportunity than this one, then I wouldn't take it because I'm loyal to this job that I haven't even started yet. And they know you're lying. They know that every single person who walks through their doorway is giving a performance. But that's what they're judging, the performance, because we're all actors playing a script we didn't write. And it's all bullshit. And then they ask, what drives you? Being homeless? You know what doesn't drive me? Waking up at 7 a.m. and thinking, oh yes, I can't wait to make spreadsheets and send emails.
The greatest. Literally the greatest, man. This level of this frustration here at the end.
You know what doesn't drive me? Waking up at 7 a.m. and thinking, oh yes, I can't wait to make spreadsheets and send emails.
Someone call Alex Haley. We need to write his autobiography. This is a runaway slave who's about to realize he can buy his freedom and move to Haiti. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is the first step, you know. It's DABDA. It's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Well, actually, he's on step 2, anger. Great stuff. This is what you... Dude, this is someone who understands that they have been blessed. They have been so blessed. You are so blessed that you saw this. You are so, dude, we really need another hippie generation. People give the boomers crap because they kind of sold out, right? They voted for Reagan. But those hippies, man, that was the last time that the humans ever came close to something. They really were like, dude, fuck this. Maybe we can share. Maybe we don't have the best medical treatment, but we're back. This is just so true. And the beautiful thing about this kind of stuff is once someone sees this, it's hard for them to unsee. Okay? Once you escape the matrix, you can't go back in, dude. You can't just, worry about the usual goy things.
Some Gentiles are very stupid. They'll never think. They only want the beer and the alcohol and the sport and the football and the 4th of July barbecue. And
that you can't be plugged back in. That's the beautiful thing. Okay, and I'm not telling you that you're going to be running around with Neo in the spaceship because that's not possible and that's retarded. Why would you do that? The hero of the Matrix is Cypher. Now that you know that it doesn't work. And it's a shame he's British, because we think of British as like the more unintelligent people compared to the Americans, right? I think actually that's wrong. Maybe that's my personal bias. We actually think they're more intelligent usually. But a British guy had to look Americans in the eye and be like, hey, I'm sorry for the Protestant work ethic. My bad. I'm sorry we invented that. My mistake. I was mistaken. We should have taken a cue from the Catholics here. We work for money. We don't work for work's sake. And just seeing this, dude, it's such a blessing, man. The pandemic.
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed.
It really just changed the way people think and perceive the world. And it took a lot longer because I saw all of this in 2021, 2020. But just this beautiful, this is so sweet. We should frame this.
What drives you? Being homeless? You know what doesn't drive me? Waking up at 7 a.m. and thinking, oh yes, I can't wait to make spreadsheets and send emails.
This is not a slave. This is a thinking man. This is a good man. This is a good man. Hats up. Dude, this guy should move to America. #1 in the world. This is who we need. This is the attitude. How you doing, Ephra? Let's continue. Dude, this is some great stuff. This is some real. People were so mad at this. They were so mad, but I have to speak on this, man. I have to speak on this.
Nos cayó la pinche ley, valió madre. Nos rodearon.
Estoy en todo el derecho de grabar, no estoy haciendo nada malo también. O sea, yo estoy cooperando, puedo cooperar con usted, no hay problema.
¿Estás grabando en este momento?
Estoy grabando, sí.
Okay. ¿Y se lo puede cortar?
No, está bien. La verdad que yo estoy aquí, no estoy haciendo nada malo también. Triste lo que está pasando hoy aquí. Estamos empezando un trabajo y...
So anyone who doesn't understand Spanish, what happened here is this woman had these roofers working on her house, and when it came time to pay, she just called ICE and got them deported. And so many people were angry about this. They were saying, you're entitled to your labor. This is disrespectful. This is wrong. So I don't get it. Are we in a recession or not? Because it seems like to me, when someone tries to get a little creative to get out of a bill, they can't put a lien on that. They can't put a lien on you. The contractor's not in the country. I just don't get it. I don't get it. People want to complain the economy's not doing well. And when some woman here is just trying to find a way to hack the system. When Michael Franchese, a criminal, tells you about all the criminal stuff he did when he was in the mafia, about how he killed people, allegedly. It's cool. He has 1 million YouTube subscribers. So perhaps one of the most Nietzschean woman to ever live. I bet you she was Hispanic. I bet you she was Hispanic herself. And she went, fuck it, dude, I can't afford this. What am I going to do? I can't pay for this. I'm just going to call ICE. That is, you are staring into the abyss. You have a heart of stone. Heydrich would be scared of you. This is real Nietzsche. Everyone wants to be a gangster till a real gangster pulls up. What do you think the mafia was doing, man? In fact, you could even spin this and say she's actually sending him out of the insane asylum that is America. Okay, now they get to go back. Brother, if I got deported back to Chile right now, I'm not even sure if I'd be that angry about it. I'm not even sure I'd be that angry. You don't know how good things could be down there right now because you don't go too often. And worst case scenario, they'll just come back. It's the same thing. They're not actually deporting people, and then they can come and collect. So, people being angry at this, how else do you expect people to survive in this economy? You need a new roof. Your insurance company will not cover you without a new roof. What are you going to do? Well, you have to get creative. Let's continue. This is AI slop, dude. Actually, let's look at this, man. We have to look at the AI slop.
I want you all at
I
once.
want to keep harping on this trend, man, because I'm just so confused as to what people are actually, what they are watching, okay? This is getting millions of views on TikTok, on Twitter. Let's see what people are watching here.
I want you all at once.
Oh my god, it's positive, but I have no idea who the father is.
I will be better than my father. I will never let you down. I love you so much.
I am about to be a dad. I am about to be a dad. I am about to be a dad.
Breathe, just breathe. You're doing great. Hang in there, honey. Squeeze my hand.
Almost there.
It's mine? I can't believe this. You cheated on me. That dirty strawberry. I didn't know she was a straw hoe. I will make them pay. Stop crying. Our baby is beautiful. We will raise him together. You ruined my life, so I will end yours.
Every single one of these fruit AI videos that I have seen is cuck fetish. It's just cuckery. And it's obvious the racial implication. It's obvious what they're... Who is the audience for this? Who's actually watching this? I didn't know that we had so many cucks in this country. Is that why we're losing this war in Iran? Because we have too much cuckery in the country? How are we... Who is watching this? I mean, I'm glad it's happening because it's holding up the whole economy. Make more of this cuck stuff and people will watch it. It'll keep the valuations up of our greatest industries. But as the days pass, because I don't get it. That's the problem, is that I don't get it. That's the problem I have. I would get it. It doesn't strike me as comedy. I know it's supposed to be funny, but there is a revealed preference here to borrow something from the libertarians. Everyone seems to want to watch cuck porn. Everyone is into cuck porn. Why are the people into cuck porn? People used to give the ladies a lot of shit for reading romance novels like 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know if the ladies are watching this or not, but it has to be some men as well. Did they just... Why? Every time, I've shown these all week. I've shown you different ones. All of them have been cuck porn. All of them. Excal Driller says that it's Gen Alpha. But aren't they like 14 years old? Are they all cucks? When did being a cuck become the thing that people want to watch? I don't get it. Effer says, don't you think immigrants are the last people that actually still believe in the American dream? Nihilism is now the fault. What would happen when people start leaving the U.S. en masse as everything gets worse? Effer, I'm not sure if people, even immigrants, believe in the American dream anymore. I think they see it as a way to make money, which is probably how they always saw it. I think the American dream was this brief couple of decades, but for a long time, I think immigrants would come in and be like, dude, we got to make money, and there's money in this country. That's why the Chinese built the railroads. They weren't doing that out of patriotism. But I do think that they are the only people left who are not willing to work. We have people willing to work in the country, but who will consistently be willing to work, who won't negotiate, who will live in the shadows, the people who hold the whole country together in terms of like cleaning and cooking. I sound like Sharon Osbourne over here. Who's going to clean your toilet, Donald Trump? But to be clear, I'm Hispanic. I can say, who's fixing the cars? Who's mowing the lawns? Who's picking the fruit? And as we deport them, you know, people keep saying they're going to raise wages, and other people, they're not going to raise the wages. Newsflash, the wages, they're gone. If you still think that the wages are coming back, you might be the dumbest person in the world. You might be, you're obsolete, man.
You are obsolete.
You are obsolete. Why are you still insisting? They're not going to hire you. They're not going to raise the wages. They'll figure out a way to do it with the Tesla robots. So I'm not even sure how this is going to work out for. I do agree that removing the immigrants, including the illegals, is going to remove a large contingent that actually, dude, I see it. I don't know. I think the people who hate illegals the most don't live around them. And I don't live around them myself. But every time I travel through Florida, you go to Immokalee, you go to Everglades City, you go to places where there's fields. That is all fucking Guatemalans in there, dude. You go to Lake Placid, it's all Guatemalans picking these fucking fruits. They have signs up for buses to take a vacation to Guatemala on a bus from Florida. You know, it's all Guatemalans. We deport these people. I really wonder. Look, if you want to deport them, shouldn't we at least have the solution first? You know, people want to put the cart before the horse. But you know what? Whatever, man. Maybe we need to see that happen. I don't know. Maybe it's worth it. I don't know. What do I look like? Some kind of economist? Let's continue. What the fuck? We have doubles here. Oh no, that was a good one, man. I had to show you another one of these guys. I have it right here. Here we go. Perfect. I need to show you this one. This one is really one of these. Another slave. Massa, get the whip.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
And this one is the ultimate slave here. Look at this. How you doing, Mr. Elu?
For 2 minutes, if you want to listen, cool. If not, that's fine. But I think a lot of you could relate to this. So I'm a cop. I make decent money. I'll just tell you, I make like 70 grand a year in the new contract, pre-tax, right? So my pre-tax income is $70,000 a year if I work no extra details or overtime, whatever. My take-home pay every month post-tax is like $4,000, right? Just about. And where I live, a one-bedroom apartment ranges anywhere from $2,000 to like $2,400 a month, maybe more, depending on where you're at. And a mortgage is going to be well over $2,500 for any house in this state, okay? Unless I moved out into the middle of fucking nowhere and had an hour and a half drive to work. And I'm discouraged. I have a decent job. My job is inherently kind of dangerous. I feel like I should be getting paid a little bit more personally, but it's whatever. And before you're like, well, you can work overtime in details. Yeah, dude, I don't want to work my life away. I have a lot of things I like to do outside of my job. I want to spend time with my family, and hopefully I have my own family someday, and I want to actually see my kids. And I'm 27, by the way, and like, I just feel like I'm fucked. Like, I'm fucked. I'm single. I don't have a girlfriend, and I don't want a girlfriend just for like financial reasons. You know what I mean? Like, I want to actually find somebody that I want to be with. And like, I had to move back home because I just like can't afford to do that. Right. And I'm not going to fucking blow my life away working, because I feel like I don't believe in that personally. Right. And if you disagree, that's fine. And a lot of people I work with, they work every day, doubles. And it's like, what kind of life is that? Like, yeah, maybe you have a little bit of extra money, but for what? You're at work all the time. You don't even enjoy it. So it's like, we're fucked. We're so fucked.
God, what a fucking pussy, bro. What a pussy.
Shut up, man. Man, listen. You ain't got to say.
What a pussy, dude. Can you imagine? Dude, this is where the boomers are right. Man. This is where they're. What? You don't even have a family yet. You're 27. You want to start a family. Sorry. Do it later. Do it later. Dude, you're a cop. You don't make enough money to buy a house. All right. Well, then get creative. Go be a criminal or something. This is just... Dude, why is everyone... I really thought the Zoomers had more in them. I'm a Zoomer myself. Why is everyone being such a fucking pussy? Why are you being such a pussy? You don't even have the family and you're worrying about the family. This is some anxiety crap, man. Like, we have a problem with anxiety in this generation. We need these people to get government we need government funded Xanax or something. This is not possible. The real revealing thing here is that if the cops are stressed out like this, And now they're posting it. This kind of explains why they're assholes in a lot of ways. Because if they're stressed about their work, and I got to tell you, maybe if he looked a little bigger, this is how they want him to be thinking. Because this way, the city makes more money. The city makes more money when the cop is pissed off, so he's going to ticket you for going 5 over the speed limit in a school zone on a Saturday. Okay? Just paid that fine, dude. That shit is still fucking eating my ass. I had to pay $100 to the city. $100. It was a Saturday. Whatever. What a fucking pussy. We can't be this pussified as a country. Like, this is a country of pussies at this point. Everyone is being a pussy. And, you know, if our cops are pussies and our people, what is the point? What is the point? You know, you have qualified, dude, you're a cop. I don't have a girlfriend. There's no excuse. You're a cop. You could go get a girlfriend like this. Do you know how easy it is to get a girlfriend as a cop? I've seen the movies. You pull them over for a speeding ticket. Pretty soon, she's offering a little something, something, and then you're married. Okay, you're a cop. You can go rob drug dealers. You're a cop. You can go seize assets. You can civil asset forfeiture. You can go find money. Dude, I'm not going to hear it from cops. I'm not going to take it from cops. You have so many alternative revenue streams as a cop. Unless you think all the cops are like legit. I don't, maybe you still believe in fantasy land where the cops, they get up in the morning. Every morning cops get up and unprompted recite the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, get in their cruiser and do their duty. If you believe that, I don't even know what to tell you. Go do something. Go do something. Go marry a nurse, right? Yeah, Audio Vibe says, go marry a nurse. Go marry a school teacher. Go marry someone. You're a cop. If you and I can't have kids. I can't afford it. Dude, how is it that every Cuban I know who works Uber and is making $21,000 has like 3 kids from 4 different women? How is that possible? And these people out here are saying, I don't know how to have the kid. I don't know how they're doing it either, but they're doing it. And all they do is drive Uber half the day. They spend the rest of the day drunk. And they're having these kids. And you can't have a kid. You have a career. You're a cop. Why don't you go join ICE or something? Or the TSA? Or pull yourself up by your jockstrap, Buttercup. What are we doing here? I don't get it, man. Like, people on welfare are having a better life than our police. Like, that's every single Cuban I know, bro. Like, we call them refs in Miami, that has come over in the last 10 years has at least 5 children from 4 different women. And you see them posted on Facebook in their Minions t-shirt. And you're like, dude, what is this magic stick he has? How does he keep doing this? And they have the kids. I don't know how they have the kids, but they have them and they fucking pay for them. And this cop is going to cry? After says the gig economy even viable at $7? I don't think so. I really don't think so. But I'm telling you, Efra, I see them do it every day. These Cubans are out here having these kids. They're doing it. I don't know how they do it. I really don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's just the only people who seem to be struggling right now, the only slaves that we have in this country, dude, like the slaves that are here, the people that need to leave.
Why are you in our country? You need to go back.
Are these people, the PMC, the careerist, the barista worker? Take it easy, love. Take it easy. No one, bro, do you know how easy it is to have a kid? As a guy and a woman, you just don't pull out. You can do that. And guess what? Then there's benefits. The government's not going to let the kid die. And if not, move to Colombia or something. But be an adult. You're a cop. You can get injured on the job and collect disability for the rest of your life. God, man, it's fucking pussy country, bro. We live in the most pussified country in the history of countries, perhaps ever. This is the most pussified country in the history of countries, maybe ever. Grow up. It's time to grow up. Where's Eves? And I saw that Mr. Elu said this. Dude, I'm an H-1B kid too, man. My dad was H-1B. I don't feel bad about it because my dad came to work a sales job where you had to speak Spanish because they were selling to Colombia, Venezuela, etc. An American company was trying to break into that market. So, you know, you actually do need someone that understands that culture. I don't feel that bad about it because, you know, he didn't come here to do a trucking job, you know. He was doing something that someone else couldn't do, you know, but, you know, that's a little trivia there. All right, should we get to our stories? Dude, more cuck stuff. Now, all right, let's get to the stories. We need to start here with foreign policy, man. We'll get to Dave Smith later. I'm edging you a little bit. Firstly, look, we have to talk about Iran. What's going on in Iran right now? I literally have no idea. I have no fucking idea what's going on in Iran. Do you have any idea what's going on in Iran? How you doing, Robert? How you doing? Everybody wants the good life, but they're not willing to work for it. That is actually true, Robert. A lot of people give boomers grief for saying that, but that's actually true. There are so many unorthodox ways of making it, and it is a little bit harder. It's actually a lot harder, but maybe you don't need to own the house. Maybe you can rent. It's fine. You will own nothing and be happy. If you really want to own something, you can move somewhere. You're an American. You have the 11th most powerful passport in the world. You can do so much. You have an American degree. You could be a consultant for a Colombian death squad with police experience, okay? You could go work for the cartel. There's so much you could do. How you doing, Robert? We have to look at this, man. So, if you guys remember when Iran was bombed recently, there were people celebrating when he killed the jobber known as the Ayatollah. Isn't it crazy that after the Ayatollah died, Iran started actually fighting back? Definitely a jobber, dude. Shout outs to AA, okay? Shout outs to AA. Robert's telling us to buy a fixer-upper. I wouldn't even buy a fixer-upper myself. I really would. There are opportunities out there. I was looking at buying a property that was seized by the federal government where it was $30,000, like 5 acres of land in Gainesville. It wasn't for me. It was just way too far back on a private road. Wasn't worth it. And the bidding started at $30,000. It didn't sell. It'll probably go back up for cheaper because the guy who had last lived there tortured and raped a woman in his trailer on the property with his girlfriend. And he's in jail right now. He was some millionaire who made money for Ubisoft or something, and he retired and decided he was going to start his Ted Bundy arc. He got caught. And it was $30,000, 5 acres of land. It won't appreciate, but you'll have a roof over your head. You buy that $30K outright. Okay, it's expensive. Take out a loan. And then you buy a trailer or a prefab for $50,000. You can live there. You can actually live there. I was considering it, but it wasn't for me. It was going to be a pain with the private road and everything. But you can do that kind of things. There are these opportunities in the country. Smokey says Zorro Ranch. How you doing, Smokey? No, not Zorro Ranch, sir. But if that's what you mean by a fixer-upper, Robert, I completely agree. You should be buying that stuff. You should be buying, dude, you have AI available to you. Filter houses by horrific crimes. Find houses. I don't know if it's a Florida thing, right? Everything says, find a house where a murder happened, where something evil happened. It'll be cheap. It's going to be very cheap. It's going to be very, very cheap. Listen, man, that property I could have bought was zoned agricultural and residential. I could have had some sheep, goats, cows, and a trailer, and I could be living there with the Starlink from the Elon Musk. I could have been doing that, but, it just wasn't for me. I don't want to deal with people, All right. What's going on in Iran? All right. When they killed the Ayatollah, again, funny enough that after he died is when Iran fought back for the first time since 1979. What? Definitely a jobber, dude. This is how people were celebrating that, Iran was dead, You can't be scared of ghosts. You can't be scared of ghosts, dude. Bro, look. All right, hang on. Before we get to... If you're buying a property where a murder happened, listen, you're right. It's a coin flip. It could be a scary ghost. It could also be Casper the Friendly Ghost. You know, it doesn't have to be bad. It could be a good ghost. If I were a ghost, dude, imagine being a ghost from the 1950s, right? Or from the 90s, living in someone's house. I would be trying to help you. I would be going around the house being like, don't buy index funds right now. Save your money. The economy was so much better when I was alive. I would be doing that as a ghost, you know. It could be a bad ghost, but it could be a good ghost. You know, it doesn't have to be a bad ghost. So we have to, you do a coin flip. If it's a bad ghost, then fuck it. You know, you sell it. You fix it up and you sell it. And this is what people were doing when the Ayatollah died. And, you know, people, they love to celebrate. They love to dance. The people love to dance. They love some joy. People love to dance. They really do love it. You know, and I assume that this young lady, you know, when they started bombing Venezuela, I didn't do the Trump dance. I didn't do the little Trump dance because I have family there. And I was like, fuck, dude, my cousin could die. That's crazy, you know? One less for the inheritance. No, I'm kidding. Absolutely not. That would be so dark. No, absolutely not, you know? No. But, yeah. My God, man. I can't keep getting away with it.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Anyway, okay, all right, so people love to dance. They love to dance. When they bombed Venezuela, I was like, my cousin, I hope she's okay. She was fine. It was all good in the end. It was okay, right? But this Iranian lady, she started dancing. She started doing the Trump. She started, you know, fucking turns out that they killed her fucking cousin. Oh my God, man. Oh my God, dude. Just crazy work, bro. It's crazy work. This is me on the left with my beloved cousin who I lost last week. He would be alive if there was no Islamic regime. Still blaming the Muslims. I'm writing this with tearful eyes, brother. This picture was probably the last time I was really happy in my life. You seem pretty happy doing the Trump dance before I realized I was born and where I live. Brother, dude. It's crazy. That's some crazy work, man.
Say the N word. Go on.
Like this is crazy shit. This woman is really, bro, like my God, dude. Bro, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. Obviously, I feel for her, you know. I don't know if it's the Islamic regime's fault, really, but you know, I commend her ability to continue to blame the Muslims. You know, that's the Iranians. That's good. You know, you should. This is actually, I'm not going to fucking clown her too much. This is what's missing in America. And when we talk about Dave Smith later, is that there's no loyalty in this country. She picked a side. They can kill her cousin. She's going to keep staying on side. This is why people don't succeed in this country, because they don't know the meaning, as Trump likes to say, loyalty. You know, they are not loyal people. You should be this loyal. Everything says, we are Latinos. We are the most superstitious people on the planet. That is true. Bro, then just call over a palero to cut some chicken head off and they'll get rid of the ghost or something, man. I don't know. I become white in that sense. Maybe the ghost is a good guy. Maybe the ghost is nice, you know. Maybe the ghost is a nice guy. I don't know, you know. I know Asians behave that way. They don't hate ghosts. They're like, sometimes the ghost is nice. Ephra says, you know why Iran is willing to escalate? It's because the Iranian regime would collapse into civil war if the war ended. But for now, multiple competing forces are united against. I agree somewhat with that analysis, Ephra. Absolutely. Because you have the Hezbollah fighters. You have the people in Iran. You have the Kurds. But the Kurds don't seem to be getting involved. It would be like a total shit show. But I have to say, Ephra, I do think that this Ayatollah they had was clearly like a front. Like, this guy was retarded. There's no explanation, you know? There's no explanation. Like, how could he be a pussy for 30 years? He didn't do anything, you know? They shot an Iranian jet airliner in the 80s out of the sky, and they didn't do anything about it, you know? So let's continue. I would update with you this here, and I've seen this meme used a lot. The Iranians have stepped up their capacity. Here they are shooting down an F-18. That's old shit. That's old technology. Who cares if they shoot down an F-18? Yeah, this is some old shit. You know, they injured one of our F-35s. Oh, big deal. All right, sometimes it's not invisible. This is some old shit. You can shoot all of these down. It doesn't even matter. It's an F-18. It's not a big deal. You know, it's a fucking old shit. It doesn't really matter. That's it, okay? That's just true. All right, so it's just an F-18. It's not a big deal, but people keep making these memes, and they're just crazy. I've seen a lot of people are not supporting the troops anymore, which, you know, if I were a conservative, I'd be crying about it, you know, but I think I already support the troops enough. I think I really do. Personally, I think I've been paying for all of their disability and the food they eat and everything. I think I've supported the troops enough in my life. I think the troops have been supported with my tax dollars enough. I'm not going to thank you for your service anymore. I have sent enough money to the IRS for you to ask me to be thankful. I'm not going to be thankful. Brother, look, I don't want us to lose, obviously. I don't want you people to think here that I hate the troops.
You are fighting against America and you hate white people.
I don't hate the troops. I don't hate America. Obviously, the troops are important, and I hope that we win this war expediently so that the gas prices come down. Did you see USPS added an 8% temporary tax to packages? Good luck getting rid of that. Oh my God. If you think that's temporary, you might be the goyiest goy to ever live.
I always wonder how dumb this goyim sometimes can be.
Oh boy. Oh, 8% tax on every single package. Oh, I hope you enjoy that one. On top of sales tax, I hope you enjoy 15 cents every dollar in Miami. Imagine that. Whatever. So yeah, I'm not going to say that I'm supporting the troops with money. So, you know, everything says, so no invisible planes yet. They hit one of them. They hit one, but it was okay. It survived. It was fine, you know? You know, they're fine. You know, it landed. It was okay. It was a little too hot for a second. They got it with heat seat. It wasn't a big deal. It was not a big deal. Let's continue. We have here CPAC. We have CPAC, and what I love about this Trump administration, unironically, is when you think back in history, when Nixon became president, Nixon was a real motherfucker, bro. Nixon hated the communists. He really hated the communists. Nixon, he prosecuted Alger Hiss, you know, for anyone who doesn't know that, accused communists. Some people still defend him, heathens. He was a communist, okay? He was on the HUAC committee. He was with McCarthy in the Senate. This was a real motherfucker. He hated the communists, right? And when he got into power, they were like, dude, it's over, bro. He's going to end the Soviet Union. This guy hates the communists. And guess what he fucking does? He sends Kissinger over and he shakes hands with Mao Zedong. Every conservative in the country looked like Kyle Rittenhouse.
That's right, Ron.
How could he betray us? How could he do this? Well, anyway, that gave us like the whole economy for 60 years. So great shit, you know. Shouts out to Nixon. Nixon will be vindicated. Anyways, started the EPA, dude. I fuck with the EPA. The EPA is cool. The EPA saved the Everglades. Okay, the EPA is good. In my opinion. This is an analysis show. But anyway, only the president of peace, only President Trump You know what I think about? I think about that guy at that rally in Dearborn, some Muslim guy. I think he was Somali. My producer thinks about him every single day, dude. Every day. Who got on stage and he was like, you have to vote for this man. This man is the president of peace. Only the president of peace could start this war in Iran. No one else could have done it. No one else could have done it. No one else could have done it, dude. Literally no one else could have done it. And I'm glad to see that the Trump followers feel similarly. Right? Everything says, I saw Bill Clinton edits on my feed the other day. First Nixon edits, now Bill. Dude, I wasn't as big. Bill was interesting. You know, I used to be one of these like WTO protester types and all this. But at this point, man, it was a good time. You were salty because we weren't there for it, dude. I know the chickens had... I'm a good country boy. I don't mind when chickens come home to roost. They were going to come to roost eventually. But imagine living in America in the 90s. Oh, my God. Anyway, you could say the N-word.
Say the N-word. Go on.
You could... I'm sure that's what Matt Walsh is mad about. He's like, he remembers the 90s. He's like, I could say the N-word. It was great. You had like all sorts of cool shit. DMX was there. Tupac. You know, fucking cool time, the 90s in America. And that's gone. You know, it was probably cool. So, ACA defenders over here, all right? Yeah. I'm sorry, Miss Real. I'm sorry I thought America could do the Swiss model and it would work. I'm sorry. Let's watch what the conservatives have to say at CPAC about President Trump.
He is the president of peace. So this is to bring peace in the area. When this gets taken care of, it's going to be peace. And it's, well, I believe, I'm on True Social. That's the only social media I do. And I believe that he's going to have, bring peace, and it's going to be very short. And he's got a plan. He's a genius. And we trust President Trump. All of us trust President Trump. He is the president of peace.
This isn't even cope. Honestly, she's fucking right, dude. She is right. Look, this is the most peaceful war we have had recently. Not on your pocketbook, but it is pretty peaceful. You know, a lot of people, like the Tucker Carlsons, they keep crying about the people who've died. I think we've lost like 17 people officially. Do you guys remember Iraq, Afghanistan? This is a peaceful war, for lack of a better term. You know, it's a war that is pacific. That's an oxymoron, man, but it's so true. Like, we are getting to levels of 7D chess with Trump here that it's really something. It makes sense. You know, there is... Look, all right, you don't understand. I'll explain it to you. Okay, so there's peace. Peace means that nothing is happening, right? But in order for peace to exist, just like think of God, okay? God, the reason that kids get cancer is because what happens is you can only create good if bad exists, okay? How do you expect President Trump to be the president of peace if he can't make a war? Oh, thank you, Robert, for the super chat. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you, sir. Keep up the good work. Absolutely, sir. At your order, sir. We will keep doing the show. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you, Robert. Robert, we're getting a new microphone next week because someone was actually very funny in the comments of a recent stream, and they said you should get a microphone that works here so Mike Redbar doesn't call you out. And I was like, I love Mike Redbar. So you're getting a new microphone. That's partially brought by people like those in the Chiron who super chat and everything, as well as ad revenue. I appreciate you guys. How you doing, Patty Delindo? By the way, to catch everyone up, Patty Delindo had a baby, so congrats. But thank you again, Robert. So look, all I'm saying is, how could President Trump truly be the president of peace if he didn't show you that he was capable of a war? Just as God must create bad for good to exist. If you're mad about that, you are mad at the dialectic. And if you're mad at the dialectic, I don't even know what to tell you, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. there has to be, look, there is the thesis and the antithesis. And in that, there is tension. And in that tension, we get the synthesis. And that's how we get the president of peace. He would have never been the president of peace if there was no war. Bro, they should hire me, man. They should really hire me at the fucking... Dude, they need hard men like me.
I like to get a bunch of men together.
Okay.
Men that are the hardest of the hard. And I want to be with these men.
How can me and P. Hegseth would be cleaning up right now. I am Donald Rumsfeld level. Well, not really, because I'm Hispanic and slow, so bear with me. But, you know, I'm pretty close. You know, I could get there. I could be, you know, how could he be the president of peace? So let's continue. I like this one. I like this woman. This is good logic. This is not bad. Let's continue. What else do people think about the president of peace? Let's see what they think.
This is not a war. This is not an award. Oh my God, I absolutely support the President of the United States of America.
I'm at CPAC in Dallas. It's the biggest conservative.
I hate this fat idiot, dude. I really hate this guy. This guy is just total coonery. Just...
Oh, go shuck and jive, I'm gonna shuck and jive, I'm gonna get on down and tap dance, I'm gonna shuck and...
CNN can't be paying this much for this minstrel show that this guy does, dude.
Conference in the country, and lots of people here are talking about the war in Iran. Trump is not speaking at this event this year, but in the past, when he has spoken here, he's talked a lot about not starting new wars.
When it comes to Iran, how do you feel about that?
I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. I mean, President Trump ran on no new wars. I feel like we've been opted into a war that shouldn't be ours. It should be Israel's.
We want to say, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you for helping Iranian people.
What do you think of the war with Iran at the moment?
Unfortunately, I think it's necessary.
You do?
Yes, and he's the only president that had the backbone to take it on.
Do you believe that Israel forced the U.S. into this war?
Absolutely not. Donald Trump does what Donald Trump wants to do.
I don't think Trump is really controlled by anybody as much as everyone would like to control him. But I do question some of the things when it comes to, are we just going to bend over everything for Israel, you know?
What do you say to some Republican people who say, well, this is Israel's war, it shouldn't be America's war?
That's not so. Israel is God's people. Those that bless Israel will be blessed. Those that curse Israel, they better watch out.
Do you feel disappointed in the president?
Sure.
Do you still support him?
This is so anti-Semitic, man. I don't...
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
This is so... Look, no. All right. So you can get the temperature of the room. I actually heard Richard Spencer the other day was talking about how people like Tucker, and even myself, I was guilty of it. They would be like, what do you mean Israel is referring to the country? You know, like the Bible verse? But Spencer, dude, like being a good liberal, he was like, God works in mysterious ways. He's a total atheist. He's like, why would you tell them that that's not the case? Great stuff. Shouts out to Richard, man. The greatest commentator around. That's crazy. But as you can see, you know, there's a lot of talk of Netanyahu here. I wonder what he has to say about it.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say?
So the MAGA base seems to be a little bit divided on this, okay? Robert says to be worried of your draft age. Dude, fellas, if they're going to draft me, dude, I am going to... Listen, we can always move to Mexico or something. We can always go down there with Bari Dolindo. I'm sure she'll put us up at her house, anyone that's going to get drafted. And we will take care of her baby with her. It'll be like 3 men and a baby. And we'll be okay. And then we can survive the war, you know? Right, Bari Dolindo? I know you're generous over there. I everything says, I always love the duality of these conventions. The side America and God. The other side, gay, diversity, Trump is... Dude, wait till you hear Trump talk about gay people. Doesn't Richard Spencer want Israel and America for white people? I don't think he thinks that anymore, Mr. Elo. I think he's very... Dude, Richard Spencer doesn't have a problem with illegal immigrants anymore. He has a problem with H-1Bs only. Now, You know, this is a big deal because this war is going on. You see it's dividing the MAGA base. But what is President Trump doing all this week during these meetings?
And the state level working hand in glove. It doesn't happen any other way. You see, before President Trump, our nation was set on a perpetual course of decline. Our defense industrial base had been hollowed out. Our military had lowered its standard, prioritizing equity over merit.
He's literally falling asleep, and it's not just one time. This is today where he fell asleep in the meeting.
Their presence is proof that Iran's air defenses are gone. Their command and control is shattered, their top leaders hiding in underground bunkers, while their mid-level commanders are being crushed in the field. The morale of their...
What happened to Sleepy Joe? You know, what happened? Why didn't Trump go with that nickname? He should have called him Creepy Joe or something, Sleepy Joe. Bet you're missing Sleepy Joe. No, but I actually think this is good. Sleepy Trump is good because this should give you some renewed confidence in our ability as a country. If the president is this chill, if you can keep a cool head in times like this, enough to the point that you can sleep like Indian cows during a meeting about the war, you should be confident. You should be confident that things are going to work in your favor. Don't worry about it. If the president can sleep, rest assured, you can sleep too, okay? A lot of people are mad. Actually, again, why don't you take a cue from Trump and go take a little nap and see if Iran only exists in your head, dude. The war in Iran is only happening here. It's not happening out there, dude. You're thinking about it like Dave Smith, and that's why you're worried. Let's continue. I had to show you this, dude, because this is our primer here to talk about the policies, okay? What's going on here with the policies, okay? This is Grant Cardone, one of the greatest grifters to ever live. Shouts out to Grant, talking to Jordan Belfort.
Hey, I'm coming to San Antonio, man. Will you give me 5 minutes? This is before anybody knew who I was, right? No books, no kind of notoriety. So they're like, no, don't come by. But see, that was interest. To me, that's interest. No, I'm not interested. Not interested.
So not interested to use interest.
Well, it is. It says not interested. Not is an adjective to describe interest.
Okay.
Right? So it's a level of interest.
So if someone says they're not interested,
on a scale from 0 to 10, what interest level do you have? None. That is a level.
Right.
Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You with me? A few minutes ago, he didn't know he had no interest. At least I'm on. You see what I'm saying? You get it?
Well, I wouldn't do that. I disagree with that. But I'm not saying that.
I think that this is President Trump's whole strategy when negotiating with Iran. That's why I'm not showing it frivolously. I literally think this is what he's thinking. I think because he keeps telling us we have a deal, we don't have a deal. I don't know, but I think this is what he's saying. He's saying that they have shown interest in making a deal, and you're thinking they don't have any interest. Obviously not. They're still bombing Qatar or whatever. But the reality is, if they told President Trump that they have no interest, Grant Cardone's in real estate, dude. This is going to be Trump's bread and butter. I'm inclined to believe him. Maybe this is how these real estate guys think, and that's why they're successful. Because if there is no interest, it does mean that that is a level of interest. So that's why I'm playing it for you. Now let's get to what Trump is actually saying here. So they want to make a deal. Let's watch here how he talks about it, okay?
They want to make a deal. The reason they want to make a deal is they have been just beat to shit. So
okay.
Just beat to shit.
Dude, if you still are trying to follow this war, if you're trying to understand what's going on, you're like an idiot. Like, if you're trying to understand what's actually going on down there, I don't get it. How could you think that we're going to get anything truthful out of that? We really don't have any method of verifying. You know, I guess they're beat to shit, so they want to make a deal. I don't even know what that means. No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. No, it's not. It gets the people going. So this is clearly the Grant Cardone strategy of international relations, because it seems like they don't want to make a deal to us, but they probably, even if they don't want to make a deal, that means they want to make a deal. Okay, let's continue. He had this to say in regards to the people that we saw at CPAC that were not happy with him starting a new war. Let's listen.
I want to ask you, like, how do you deal with people who might be disappointed because they voted, let's say they voted for you on the assumption of no wars, and then this happens and it's inconsistent with their wishes, what would you say to them?
Well, I have to do something in terms of making America great and keeping America great. And when you have lunatics with nuclear weapons and the power is beyond belief, I will tell you, as a president, I get to see it. My uncle was a great professor at MIT, and he knew more about nuclear at the time than anybody. He told me stories that were horrible in terms of the power, both beautiful in terms of putting it to good use, but really bad for destruction purposes. And his statements from years ago were, you know, he really got it. He really got it. He was a highly respected man. He was there for 41 years at MIT as a great professor, and he told me about a thing called nuclear.
Say the N-word. Go on.
Dude, what the hell is going on? Bernie Sanders is yelling at ChatGPT because he wants socialized healthcare, and Donald Trump is out here telling me about his uncle.
I had no idea your voice is going to sound like that, Netanyahu.
Kidding. That was obviously President Trump. I'm kidding. What the hell is he talking about? Let's continue. We have to get to Dave Smith. I don't even know. And this is the final thing here. This is what. Now we're just calling people gay. This is pretty crazy here. Okay.
You kind of suggested that we'd knocked out Ayatollah Jr. Have we? And did the CIA tell you that Ayatollah Jr. is gay?
Well, they did say that, but I don't know if it was only them. I think a lot of people are saying that, which puts them off to a bad start in that particular country. You know, I sort of have to smile to myself when I say I see people trying to defend the Palestinian regime for women for Palestine, but they kill women if you don't wear a certain if you don't wear a certain cloth all over your face, you have no chance of living. And, you know, when I look at gays for Palestine, but they kill gays. They kill them instantly. They throw them off buildings. And I'm saying, who are the gays for Palestine? And they have a significant amount of gays for Palestine. Now, I think I did very well with the gay vote, okay? I even played the gay national anthem as my walk-off, okay, for my campaign. And I think it probably helped me, but I did great with no Republicans ever gotten the gay vote like I did, and I'm very proud of it. I think it's great. Perhaps it's because I'm from New York City. I don't know, but the gay national anthem was my walk-off, and I think it probably had. But think of it, gays for Palestine, but they kill gays in Palestine. So when they hear that, I think probably we can talk them out of it. It shouldn't be too hard.
What the hell is he talking about? Dude, the theme of this show is confusion, bro. Even in Schizo Watch, what the hell is he talking about?
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
What the hell is this guy talking about? I mean, I love it.
We live in hell.
I love it. I think it's very funny. He's just riffing about gay people. And someone get Tucker Carlson on the line, man. So now we're just killing people and calling them gay? This is the American foreign policy, is calling people gay now? We're just going to call people gay? I guess Tucker Carlson has influence at the White House. What can I tell you? I bet you Tucker Carlson was the CIA agent that discovered the Ayatollah is actually a homosexual. Because, I mean, he's interviewing Milo Yiannopoulos, asking him about it. That was actually his cover to get his mission briefing on how to make sure he had pictures of the Ayatollah's son having gay sex. Efra says, our intelligence agencies told Trump the Russians are helping the Iranians with intelligence. Why do you think Trump does nothing about this or say something to them? That's a good question, Efra. I mean, is he saying anything at all? Are we talking to the Russians at all, Efra? What is going on in Ukraine? Efra, you're the one who's updated on this Putin thing. And I've started to see, rereading the chats, like I'm starting to see the puzzle come together. I think someone in the chat after you said it was like, I think Russiagate's kind of making sense now. I'm not sure I totally subscribe to it, but I do. I don't know how Putin wins from this. Because I don't really understand what's going on in Ukraine either. That's another super like weird fake war. So I don't understand what's going on after. I'm really just confused today, honestly. I started my day bad, dude. I told you guys at the start, I saw a fucking white guy waiting at Home Depot to be a day laborer, and he turned out to work for the Coast Guard, and I found out they're not getting paid right now. I've been confused this whole day. I've never been more confused in my life than today. This is the most confusing day of my life. But Efra, I think that's a good question. I actually genuinely do. Have you asked Gemini? I think Gemini, but even Gemini is going to go with Google. They don't know what's going on. So, yeah. I hate everything, says Trump, quote, well, this guy called Sean Kiriakou told me he really likes hummus in his ass. That's going on the soundboard, Kiriakou talking about hummus in his ass. That's a great one. Thank you, sir. I'm putting that on tonight. Let's get to Dave Smith. Look, we have to talk about Dave Smith. As you guys saw, the title of this video is, I'm sorry, Dave Smith. The network that we're working for here is not exactly as free speech inclined as I thought. As I said, my producer has been suspended again with pay because of this Dave Smith incident. So we're rolling solo tonight. They don't like how I talked about Dave Smith. They were saying that I was just hating on him because his drip's too hard, his money's too long, his car's too fast, his speaker's too loud. They're saying, just keep working harder, keep your head low. And I'm looking at the fucking head of the network, and I'm like, dude, there's no way you actually like this Dave Smith guy. He's like, Dave Smith and you and Hitler were all born on the same day. These are all great men. And I was, no, I thought I had to apologize to Ben Shapiro, and now my director here is telling us that we have to apologize, that Hitler, whatever. I take that all back. That's completely fake. The producer is still being paid, and he's here. I hate you, Dave Smith, and I don't apologize for jack shit, and I hate you. You're a fucking idiot. And the fact you and I were born on the same day is disgusting. You're not worthy of being born on the same day as me, sir. You're not worthy of being born one day after the BP oil spill. You're not worthy of being born on 420 itself. That's not you, okay? That's not you. I don't apologize to Dave Smith. I don't care how Dave Smith feels. I hate you, Dave Smith. I think you're stupid. I think you're annoying. And when I saw that you were on Joe Rogan today, I knew I had to cover this tonight because we're going to bring out the whiteboard here. I have a new theory on Dave Smith, okay? Let's write this out before we watch Dave Smith. So look, Dave Smith, Davey Smith, right? Dave Smith is supposed to be a libertarian, right? That's what Dave Smith is, right? Dave Smith is a libertarian. What do libertarians believe in? They believe in the non-aggression principle. They believe in what else do libertarians believe in? They believe in I don't know, the age of consent at like 9 or something. What else do they believe in? Is like 9 years. No driver's licenses. That's like a great libertarian thing, right? We really need no driver's licenses. And they believe in weed. Okay, this is what Mises wrote about, actually. This is what every Mises book is about. It's about these 4 things: the non-aggression principle, the age of consent, no driver's licenses, and weed. That's what Hayek meant when he was talking. Have you read Hayek? You haven't? There's 4 chapters in On the Road to Serfdom. The first one is called Weed. The second one's called The Age of Consent Should Be 9 years old. The third one is No Driver's Licenses. And the fourth one is the non-aggression principle. Okay, so this is very important. Now, I've been analyzing Dave Smith. I've been looking at him through a microscope. I've been examining his cells. I have a Dave Smith biopsy over here, okay? And I think I've discovered what happened with Dave Smith. And this is very important, okay? Because they believe in the non-aggression principle, right? This is very important, okay? Think of this, okay? They believe in the non-aggression principle. what is the non-aggression principle? The non-aggression principle means that you don't get to hit anyone unless they hit you first, right? To me, that sounds like pussy shit. I go out there and I hit people before they hit me, but that's just me kidding. I would never do that. But if you wait to respond, you might end up being a sucker in life and having a party that wins 1% of the vote every year if you're lucky. Now, what I've discovered here is that since Dave Smith is a libertarian that believes in non-aggression principle, I think he might have woken up this last election, because if you don't remember, Dave Smith did something important. He endorsed Trump. This is what Dave Smith did this election. He endorsed Trump. Now, Dave Smith, what's going on here, okay? That's what's going on. Dave Smith is realizing that sometimes when you endorse someone, they can win. You know, if you're not endorsing that fucking retard who goes to the Libertarian Convention wearing a boot on his head, or Gary Johnson, you might actually win something. Now, obviously, Trump did not win because of Dave Smith. Maybe not. But in Dave Smith's mind, he thinks that Trump won partially because of him. And what this has done is something interesting, because I think that Dave Smith may be making, just like Hassan Piker invented a new form of communism called Pikerism, which involves streaming to bring the revolution. I think he may be amending the non-aggression principle. And what he's discovered is when you remove the non from the non-aggression principle and you're left with the AP, the app, the aggression principle, what happens is that you actually start winning. When you start voting for the guy that Dave Smith said before he was elected was a war criminal that belonged in prison, and, you know, he bombed Yemen and Libya. You know, I'm sure Dave Smith's real torn up about it. When you do that, when you embrace the aggression principle, you win. That's what happens. And so Dave Smith is a new type of libertarian in my view. Dave Smith has woken up to the fact that if you're aggressive, you win. Okay? And he still has to put up this libertarian front, you know, say, I'm a libertarian. No, obviously not. I don't believe in any of this violence and shit. No, bro, I'm a libertarian. He has to say that. But I think that what he's realized is that he can win with aggression. Okay? We have these new libertarians that believe in the AP. Okay? I think that what we can call them is actually we can call them this. We can call them this. The radical aggression principle egalitarian libertarians, otherwise known as the Raples. Okay? This is the new libertarian in Dave Smith's mind, the Raple. Okay? This is a new branch. Mises couldn't think of it. Hayek couldn't think of it. Schumpeter couldn't think of it. Rothbard. This is called Raple, okay, with a lowercase l, okay? The L is small. This is the new libertarian platform. Rape, okay? That's what they're doing. Radical aggression principle, egalitarian libertarians. That's what they're doing, okay? And that's okay. You can be the rape. Okay, that's what you can. So today I see him go on Joe Rogan. You know, Joe Rogan, the genius who regrets voting for Trump and has realized he was completely wrong. But in his realization, he's decided to just keep streaming more about politics. And let's hear what Dave Smith had to say here on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I'm so happy Tim Dillon's in the world.
He's the
best. If you're not listening to his podcast and you want a rational but hilarious take on all the fucking madness that's going on with not just this war, but the Epstein files. His episode of the Epstein files, I hardly ever tweet about other people's podcasts, but I hardly ever tweet. But I posted it. I'm like, this is one of the best podcasts about anything ever.
Tim's ability to like rant, it like
unprecedented.
Like a hilarious rant that is laced with excellent points, but is just hilarious the whole time. And just him going off is second to none.
And he's sober. He just puts on his magic glasses.
It's him and Fuentes are the top two.
Oh, but he buries Fuentes. Fuentes is really good. Fuentes has
Tim
he's
can
funny
do something
sometimes.
different than anybody else can do.
Yeah, well, his ability to blend sarcasm and just celebration of chaos.
Yeah, it's second to none.
Best ranter that's ever walked the face of the planet.
So we have to look at this here because this is a scholar at this point, man. Dave Smith is a scholar. He's a genius. Okay, this is just the truth. I want to look at Dave Smith's radical evolution, okay? Because I've studied the man. I know what he thinks like, okay? This is the evolution of Dave Smith, all right? Dave Smith says he started off like a liberal Bernie type guy in the early days. Then he moved on to Ron Paul. Then he moved on to Trump. And now we have Nick Fuentes. So this is actually a Nietzschean, man. Look, Dave Smith went from a loser to another loser to a winner. You know, Dave Smith, just like a rat on a sinking ship, he moves off of this crap. All of this crap he needs to get rid of. This is all garbage. Blah, 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 blah. This guy's going to win. Trump, I need to be with him. And now he's endorsing Mr. Fuentes on the Joe Rogan podcast. Kind of a big deal. If we follow Dave, if we know that Dave is like this guy who learned the hard way to stop being a giant fucking non-aggression principle pussy, he might have picked the next winner here if his political instincts are right, okay? He's picking winners now, and guess what? Last time he was right. He didn't endorse, what was her name? The libertarian candidate, this dumb woman, Joanne or something, this dumb lady, bro. I forgot her fucking name. Joanne, is Joan Rivers, who ran for the Libertarian Party? Does it even matter? Does it even matter? They were all mad because she said Black Lives Matter or some crap. I don't even remember. Some fucking dumbass bitch freaking ran for. I'm not saying that because she's a woman. I'm saying that because she's a libertarian. Anyway, we see the evolution of Dave Smith over time is to pick winners. Okay. So this is Joe Jorgensen. Thank you. I knew you were going to do it, Mr. Elo. I knew you were going to do it. So we have here a guy who has changed a lot since the pandemic.
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed.
He's very different now, Dave Smith. Dave Smith is now power hungry. I think Dave Smith has become rapacious. Dave Smith has become a man who's here in order to ascend. He's not here on principle. He's here to win. And he's going to make sure that he gets his, okay? Which is admirable. I like Dave Smith, the Nietzschean. I prefer that to Dave Smith, the what about the poor kids in Yemen? That is infuriating. That is crazy when Dave Smith is doing this about.
That's right, run.
I don't care about Yemen. I don't care about Libya. And I appreciate that Dave Smith is just coming in here and saying, dude, I don't care anymore, dude. I'm all about this power shit. Make me president of the country. I love being Dave Smith, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's continue. Now, here we see this is a real snake in the grass, okay? This is an opinion on Trump and Iran, okay? What he's saying here.
And especially when it's the administration that really ran on and promised that we want to get out of this. Of this game of fighting stupid wars in the Middle East.
Yeah, that was what we were all supporting.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that he was saying that was so promising to so many people that were independent, that were on the fence. They're like, this guy wants no wars. All right. He wants closing the border, which I think is a great idea. He wants no wars. That enough. Let's go.
Well, especially considering the fact that, like, even if there are some things about Donald Trump that maybe you don't like, but the other guys are saying we want to keep fighting forever wars, and this guy is saying we should stop doing that, that's enough to go, well, then he's better than you on net. And especially...
This is great stuff, man, because this is really that scene from The Big Short where Dave Smith is proving... I always thought Dave Smith was like a little autistic or something, and that's why he's not very expressive. But what I'm realizing here is that Dave Smith This is not guilt. This is a conniving Nietzschean. Not guilt. Whenever you hear Joe Rogan or Andrew Schultz cry about, I got taken for a sucker by Trump, Dave Smith is not saying that, dude. Dave Smith is coming in here and saying, hey, man, I believed what he said. I believe the politician. I mean, I'm only 40 years old. I shouldn't be believing politicians because I'm an adult, right? I'm a libertarian. I've read Rothbard. I know that they're all blood-soaked war monsters. But whatever, you know, I'm gonna believe this politician because I don't know. I guess I'm fucking stupid sometimes.
I always wonder how dumb this goyim sometimes can be.
I guess I'm a fucking idiot. But you know, Dave Smith, his whole life, not an idiot. One election, total idiot. I just totally believed the president, dude. I believed the guy I called a blood-soaked warmonger. I believed him. Okay, good. Thank you, Dave Smith. I appreciate it. All right. So he has no guilt. Dave Smith has no guilt, all right? Because he's able to spin this, launder it through, I was just trying to believe him. I believed the guy. I really did believe him. And this is something that only in a country of slave morality, because that's where we are.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
If you don't know about the concept, man, Nietzsche said long ago that there's slave morality and master morality. And we have a slave morality society, meaning that the way you get things is not by asserting yourself, but by begging and pleading and saying how you've been wrong, how you've been mistreated, how it's not fair, it's not fair. That's how you win nowadays. It's actually pretty, like, if you're the opposite of Gary Cooper, the strong silent type, if you're a bitchy little baby, you love crying, you actually win. That's just how it works now. Some people like Jordan Peterson would call that feminine. I don't know if it's feminine or not. It's just the morality of slaves. That's just true. And Dave Smith, I think, has realized this. Dave Smith has gone and said, I choose not to be a slave except to win. I need to be a slave to win. I'm going to say, I've been wrong. I've been hoodwinked. Where's this? Malcolm X? You've been had. You've been hoodwinked. The wool's been put all over your eyes. You've been misunderstood. You've been misdirected. That's literally what Dave Smith is, like the Jewish Malcolm X. That's what Dave Smith is. Dave Smith is now the Jewish Malcolm X. In fact, I think voting for Trump is the reason he did this. This is what I'm realizing now. He broke this here. Like, he broke his tradition of not endorsing anyone because he decided, I know how to win, and the way I can win in the future is by having been had. Because now I can get a bunch of libertarians to come around me, and they can be like, I was had too, brother. No, I can't deal with this. You know, listen, we've been abused. We've been maligned. Why don't I ascend? Why don't I get more power so that I can save you? It's the Captain Save-A-Ho politics of America. And it's actually kind of admirable. I'm actually kind of proud of him for doing this. I always thought Dave Smith was going to be stupid his whole time. But I think the whole move was calculated now, dude. There's no way Dave Smith actually thought Trump was going to deliver. I think I can conclude at this point that Dave Smith is a guy who is so smart, and all he can do is figure out, how can I grift the libertarian? Because my ideas are never going to win. However, maybe I can win personally. And that's what I think is driving Dave Smith. This podcast really cleared things up for me. Let's watch a little bit more here. Ephraim says, have you seen the documentary White Poverty? I have not. Let me look that up. White Poverty. White Poverty documentary. On Netflix? I've heard of this documentary, Ephraim. I think I've heard of this. PBS? Interesting. I'm going to look this up, dude. I need to get a PBS subscription, Ephraim. There's so much stuff I want to watch on PBS. All the Ken Burns good stuff is on there. And, yeah, I would love that. This is my final bit here to reinforce the point so we can see. Thank you, Ephraim. I'm going to watch that later, actually. This is the final point here.
What is George Carlin said? People are great as individuals.
Yeah.
But when they get in a group, man, they're the worst things in the world. And that's why it should be about the issues. It should be about your principles and what you believe in. And that's and you should be like, look, like I've said many nice things about Tulsi Gabbard over the years, and I was extremely critical of her since last summer and to now, because I think she's lying us into a war, which is the war that she was always opposed to. The one. She sold no war with Iran t-shirts. She like this was
How is
literally
she lying us into this war?
So because
that's a big statement.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's true. So last summer, so Tulsi Gabbard had given her as the director of national intelligence does every year, they give their annual threat assessment. Then she testified before Congress about it. And it was very clear in her annual threat assessment that Iran was not attempting to build nuclear weapons, that they had not yet made the political decision to attempt to build nuclear weapons, let alone like are actually going for it. And she testified before Congress saying the same thing. And then while they were negotiating, Israel sneak attacks them. Then she had some post where she goes, Iran could be weeks or months away from nuclear weapons, which was total bullshit. It made absolutely no sense.
And this is great, man, because I want to sum it up here with this. This is called, I'm going to deem it here, I'm going to coin it here. This is called I've been had politics. I've been taken advantage of. Dude, this is literally someone yelling that they, like, you've been mugged before, right? I'm sure you've been mugged before. I've been mugged before. Some guy took my lighter. Okay, he mugged me. It was very annoying. I was not in the country, so I didn't defend myself because I never defend myself outside the country. Except, in Europe. Everywhere else is fine, right? So what happens here is that we have developed the ultimate evolution of slave morality, which is called I've been had politics, okay? I've been mugged before. I don't go around yelling about it and screaming and crying that I've been mugged, 10 years later, 20 years later, right? Because I'm not some disgusting, ugly freak.
Disgusting and gross. You should just be... I don't like ugly, stupid freaks.
But nowadays, the sheeple are all the ultimate slave, like the greatest slave that's ever been made, ever. So, and Dave Smith, I realized over time, look, his whole career is I've been had politics. Obama was evil. Clinton was evil. Bush was evil. Trump was evil. Tulsi Gabbard was evil. All of these people have fooled the American people. This is what he sounds like. Ilhan Omar. It's like the wool's been pulled over your eyes. They're hypnotizing America. Blah blah blah. Right? And these assholes.
These fucking assholes. The fuck is their problem, man?
It's not your fault at all. It's these assholes at the top. It's not your fault at all. It's literally not your fault at all. I could blame you for stuff, and personally, I don't, because I don't believe in blame, because I'm a Baudrillardi, and Baudrillardi is checking. But this is something interesting. The politics of blame, the politics of this, where you can look at every president in your lifetime, like Dave Smith, and just tell people, you've been had, you've been hoodwinked, you've been lied to. That is beautiful. And I really hope he continues, because I think he can. I think he can even say that Ron Paul lied to you, that Rothbard lied to you, that Mises lied to you, etc., because once we start down this cycle of like the ultimate slave politics, brother, you can literally imagine this, man. Dave Smith is like the strongest, no, he's not the strongest, he's the most verbose slave on the plantation. All right, it's the 1800s, we're on a plantation in Mississippi. And there's this slave here, and his name is David Smith, okay? He has his master's last name, he has a biblical name, right? And we all call him Dave Smith. And Dave Smith is walking around the plantation. He's telling us, Master done lied to us. Master told me the other day that we was going to eat chicken tonight. But in reality, what we had was shit. It wasn't chicken. It was actually beef steak, but the bad cuts. It wasn't good. It was the day-old slop. You hear that one day. The next day, right? You come in here and you're trying to pick the cotton so that you don't get whipped. And Dave Smith comes in there next to you and he's like, Massa told me that we only had to pick 50 pounds of cotton. But what's happening now is that I think he's putting his thumb on the scale. I think that he is actually not letting us pick enough cotton. He's trying to make us pick 70 pounds of cotton. And you're here like, dude, can you shut up? Can you please shut your mouth? I'm trying to pick this cotton so that I don't get whipped, right? It's the middle of the night. You know, you're doing you're enjoying your night. You're a slave. You have a little alcohol. There's one slave that plays the fucking violin. He's doing a little song and dance. You guys are jumping around, having a good time. Dave Smith is there and saying, you know, Massa told us last year that we were going to get a new drum set. We didn't get a drum set. He said it was going to be our reward for being such good pickers. That is the politics of Dave Smith. I'm not even exaggerating, dude. That is the politics of Dave Smith. Dave Smith is out here being the most annoying slave on the plantation because I think he thinks he can still save you. This is how you know that it is a hustle in some sense, because a real libertarian would tell you to give up, to give in, to chill out, dude. It's over. It's like that would be it. But no, this is another wrangler, another. In fact, the overseer's probably paying him to do this to you so that you can, instead of thinking, hey, the plantation kind of sucks, isn't there something else to do? Which the reality is there's not, dude. Like, what are you going to do? Go to the other plantation? Go get a real job? At least here you have like 3 square meals or whatever, right? I'm talking about America as a plantation. You know, what are you going to move? You're going to move to fucking Namibia or, I don't know, fucking Cambodia? You're going to go deal with mines? You know, this is a good plantation, you know? But, you know, people like us, we can think beyond the plantation. You know, we can start saying, you know, what if I move to Serbia? But Dave Smith is here and he's telling you to be mad about the state of the plantation. Dave Smith gets out there. You know, President gives the State of the Union. Dave Smith gives you the State of the Plantation speech every week. That's what he does. He goes, Massa this year has not treated us well. Whippings are up 12%. And food, the chitlins are down 10% in. This is Dave Smith. And I think this is genius, honestly, man. You have to admire it. This is a wizard, bro. This is an actual wizard. A bunch of people love this shit, and it's going to work out for him. And you should watch out for this, dude, because I'm going to tell you, you know, this is interesting and everything. However, I don't think Dave Smith has that. He doesn't have that iron in him, as Mr. Lee Kuan Yew said. You know, he's no Nat Turner over here. But he is going to waste your fucking time.
No, man, I'm here to waste my time.
Dave Smith is going to be complaining the whole time and telling you that if we just listen to, at some point he'll pick someone else, dude. He'll fucking pick Ibn Khaldun. We listen to Ibn Khaldun, we'll figure it out. America will be golden again. It's not like America's golden age was built on destroying half the world, but okay, whatever. This is the slave mentality.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
I'm not telling you that it's not. Look, man, everyone has to do things every once in a while, okay? Everyone has to do things. You know, sometimes you have to be the slave, sometimes you have to be the slaver. However, this annoying character here is just really something else, in my opinion. You're trying to pick your cotton. You're trying to survive the economy. You're trying to keep your sanity, right? You're a little slave on the American plantation, trying your best, trying to listen to Candace Owens, maybe get something interesting. You know, this is you here with your buddies. You know, you're out here on the Excel spreadsheet plantation, right here. That's you on the Excel spreadsheet plantation. And you're just trying to fucking go to Chipotle. You're trying to go to Chipotle at lunch. You're trying to have a good time. All you want to do is do that. And then suddenly out of nowhere comes here Dave Smith. And he just starts yelling and yelling and yelling at you. This Dave's. And then pretty soon, you know what happens? The Excel spreadsheet goes away because you replace it with reading Rothbard and gooning. You're just going to be reading Rothbard and gooning. I can't write upside down, dude. Gooning. This is gonna be your brain on libertarianism. Rothbard and gooning. That's what they replaced the Excel spreadsheet with. Dave Smith's gonna get you to do Rothbard and gooning. That's what you're gonna be doing all day. And then you're just gonna be a broke slave on the plantation. And you will be no better for it. No one is going to pay you to talk to them about Rothbard. It's not going to be important to any. There are no jobs. You know how they say qualifications, and they say like master's degree, bachelor's degree. No one says, have you read On Money by Ludwig von Mises? Actually, they're telling you to just put the fries in the bag, little bro. That's what they're telling you most of the time. And that's okay, you know, because we all have the right to choose our hell. But Dave Smith hell, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see it. So, you know, if you really like your slave morality, your slave mind, listen to Dave Smith. But I'm going to be over here ahead of the curve, always wondering.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say?
Because that's the most important man on the planet, in my opinion. Everyone, I'm glad we got through the show. I was very tired today. Thank you, Robert, for the super chat again. I missed Eves, dude. Let me message Eves right now, man. Let me message Eves on the Discord and be like, Jess, Eves, we missed you. We missed Eves. We missed Full Hat. Missed a couple people today. It's just everyone's a little busy today. But, dude, I was really busy today. It was a fucking pain in the ass. Even the Coast Guard's not getting paid. It's crazy. Crazy work, man. Crazy work. But I read debt the first 5,000 years. I'm really curious about it since you mentioned it, dude. Yeah, let me let Leaps know here. Jesse, you missed today. I'm just astounded at people's love for slavery. Yeah. I have a controversial theory. I really do think we should bring slavery back, but obviously with rules. Obviously with rules, okay? I'm not saying like this brutal chattel slavery because it's always going to exist, okay? It's always going to exist. And if you don't like how I'm saying it there, I think the company town was like actually pretty good, dude. And when I say slavery, I'm talking with some caveats here, okay? Slavery. But, let me write this down here. Okay, these are my rules, my 4 rules for slavery if we ever bring it back, okay? These are my 4 rules. Slavery, but you can start a business. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, you can buy your freedom. We'll have it on the blockchain. You'll be able to see it at any time. They have to provide resources. Unlike your job, Massa has to buy Chipotle, okay? They have to buy that. They have to take care of your medical expenses, and they have to provide you resources to start a business if you so desire, okay? No student debt, none of that. You want to go to university, they have to take on the debt, okay? And finally, rule number 4, no whipping. Of course, no whipping. No, whipping is bad. You know, we can't really do the whipping. No corporal punishment of slavery. I think that would be better than whatever it is we're doing now, where some cop is crying on TikTok about not making enough money. And this isn't race-based at all, by the way. Dude, imagine this. Imagine this. They bring back slavery tomorrow, and they say, you have student loans, you can sell yourself to the slave master, and he has to pay them. So you sell yourself to the master, boom, loans are paid off. That's it. Now you can start thinking clearly. You have to go work 6 hours a day, I don't know, doing some code fucking shit. Yeah, I don't know. Elon Musk bought you. You have to code for 6 hours a day for free. That's fine. Take your nights off. You take your night off, you start thinking, I need to start a business. I've learned a skill. I've learned a trade. Let me see what I can do. You go to Elon. Elon, I have an idea for a business. The law says you have to give me money. You start a business. It does well. You buy your way out. You're a billionaire. Next thing you know. That's what slavery did. We bring back slavery now, and I made you a billionaire. How about that? Okay, that would fucking work. That would work. Everything says I argue use prisoners. The reason I've never been a fan of prison labor is because prison labor undercuts the wages of people. That one I will actually give people. You know, people talk about illegals. I'll give you the prisoner one, dude. Like, prisoners doing work is crazy. That's crazy stuff. You know, they're not going to, you can't compete with someone making 15 cents an hour. It's impossible, you know. And pretty soon the prisoners are going to be doing more than just what they do now. You know, what do they make? License plates and clean up the road? Brother, that is to call Paul Krugman. We're not using economic activity correctly. If there is a branch on the road, instead of having a prisoner pick it up, it could probably pop a tire and then a mechanic gets business. You know, we can't be doing this with the prisoners. And it sounds like a job, says America is the most owned country, multiple interests owned. Oh, like the most owned country, and some are even hostile. I completely agree, Ephro. This is like some fucking weird Game of Thrones thing behind the scenes. I completely agree. It is odd, you know, because sometimes, you know, people like to be simplistic and they're like, oh, it's the Epstein class. Oh, it's these. Dude, there's like a lot of people that have a stake in this country that you're not even aware of. Completely agree, Ephro. Yeah, I know it sounds like a job, man, but a job is worse because, look, job versus slavery, okay? A job has a 401k. Slavery has retirement on the plantation. A job, let me write these down for you here, dude, has this. Has this. These are just 3 points. This is a job versus slavery. A job gives you a 401k, but if you're a slave, you get to retire. Okay? 401k, what, you want to be worried about your pension, your investment account? Good luck getting a pension these days. You get, okay? Slavery, you're done. You just get to live. You get, they're like, dude, we're not going to get any value out of him. Just let him chill out, you know? You get to go fishing and shit. A job has a wage, but slavery just has mandated hours. You know, slavery, you just work a few hours a day and you know you have to work them, you know? A job keeps you incentivized with, if I work more, I'll get paid more. Slavery, you're liberated because you go, oh, I just have to work these amount of hours. A job keeps you shackled, ironically, but in slavery, you can always run away. In my slavery, you would have the right to run away. Okay, you can always buy your way out. I would even, dude, like, it'd be crazy if you're a really ambitious slave in this slavery butt system. You can't even take out a loan to buy your freedom. How about that? At like 0% from the government. The government will give it to you. You don't like it? Don't worry. Just turn yourself back in. We'll wipe off the debt. If you didn't make it, it's fine. You know, it's just that, you know? I don't know. Yeah, jobs is wage slavery. I definitely see that, Mr. Elo. I think that everyone's kind of waking up to that, being like, dude, if I need this job to live, if it's not really a choice, which you don't, you got to start thinking a little bit bigger. We're going to add that clip too. Then might not be that bad, you know? So, there's that. Dude, we're over time. I appreciate everyone tuning in. It's freaking late. I'm tired, man. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight. Fucking hated going to Home Depot. I hate the Home Depot. The Home Depot's terrible. I hate Home Depot. I hate Lowe's. I hate all these hardware stores. The quality of their crap is in the gutter. It's terrible. I hate it. I do like the Chinese guys, Harbor Freight. I can't do these other hardware stores, dude, but I needed to go there. I fucking had to rent a fucking truck. Yeah, you could go to U-Haul. I didn't. Okay, I didn't. So, I'm tired, man. But we still had a great show, I hope. I hope that you were entertained. Was it entertaining enough? Were you entertained? You know. So, with that, everyone, I will see you tomorrow. Once again, happy, thank you, Robert, for the super chat. the greatest. New microphone next week. It's going to sound a whole lot better. It's going to be a lapel. I will see you guys next week. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Efra, don't you ever apologize for being pessimistic. That's why you're here. That's why everyone's here. I want to hear all sides to the coin. I always enjoy reading back the chats. I don't know if Harbor Freight is Chinese, dude, but Harbor Freight among Hispanics is called the Chinese. Called Los Chinos. I think it's because of Latin America. You know, Chinese people own a lot of convenience stores down there. And I guess a lot of stuff in Harbor Freight is Chinese. So a lot of Latin Americans call Harbor Freight the Chinese. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. 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 Change the world.